You mentioned switching up your look, and I have to ask, because I've been noticing lately, you've got the ring gear. It's kind of like a Black Panther-inspired thing. I don't know how much I've seen a couple people comment on it on Twitter, but I'm assuming the passing of Chadwick might have had something to do. But talk about that gear in particular and what that means to you to put that stamp on you this year.
So I've always been a big like gear guy. Like gear has always been for me top three of the reasons why I wrestle. You know, to entertain people and give people the feeling that wrestling gave me as a kid, to win championships and to have the coolest gear. You know, like before the video games came how they are now, where you can have a or you can have a character and have four preset outfits under that character, or however many you can do now. I haven't played a game in forever, but before that, I was making 17 versions of my character in different slots, so I could just have 42 different outfits, selections, so I could just go through all these different. Like I was spending hours on video games creating outfits. But things just weren't in the budget, chasing that independent grind. Things just weren't in the budget as much as I would have liked them to be to provide me with those opportunities. So much so that in 2019, I wore one pair of trunks the entire year. They're the trunks that I had, and they're the last pair of trunks I wore until I switched back over to tights. So like I wore them for 205, Ring of Honor, all my Impact stuff, all the championship wins, the match with Shotzi Blackheart, like everything they're a part of, that whole year. And come 2020, and then switching over to tights, eventually I had a falling out with my gear maker, and I got in contact with Main Event Gear, who makes like all the New Day stuff and Edge's current stuff, and a lot of the people who I grew up watching. I've been a fan of Main Event Gear for so long now that I've always wanted to work with them, but it wasn't really something that was in the budget. And not to say it really is so much now, but the new mentality I've been on is that like I'm gonna do what I feel is best for me and what's gonna make me the happiest. And in turn, I've made room in the budget, and I've created more income off of me making these type of decisions now, which is I'm so fortunate for. But as soon as Main Event hit me up, because we had spoke before, but once I heard their price, I was like, gotta go. So this time around, when they hit me up, I was like, man, they reached out to me, because I put up that I need a new gear maker. Everyone was tagging them, so they're just like, yo, heard you need a new gear maker. And for me, I was like, man, I'm gonna just follow my heart with this one. And I had a conversation the day before or so, the day after Chadwick had passed. I had a conversation with my nephew. My nephew's 8 years old now, and he's very inspired by me now that he knows, what his uncle does, and he can understand what it is, that's going on. And my relationship with him was not much before I left home to pursue this. He was very young, and I didn't get to see him often. The one time I remember seeing him was at a barbecue when we were celebrating my dad, coming out of a successful surgery dealing with his colon cancer at the time. My dad passed away before I was able to start pursuing wrestling. And when, Chadwick had passed away, colon cancer, I remember tweeting about it. And the day after, my nephew called me, and he was like, yeah, I saw that you said that Black Panther died with the same cancer as Grandpa. And he was like, I love Black Panther. I have all his posters on my wall. And as he's telling me this, I'm just like, I think that's what I have to do for my next set of gear.
Right.
Like, I think that right there, Bound for Glory is the biggest show of the year for us. It's, my first Bound for Glory of many. Next year I plan on main eventing that mentally. So for me, I'm just like, it's time to make that switch into real superstardom and change up the gear and make these proper movements. And not only that, I knew how much my nephew's a fan of me right now and how he lost somebody he looked up to in that aspect. He still fortunately looks up to me, and it would be a sick thing for him to see that collaboration between the two worlds of that colliding. And yeah, the gear just they absolutely killed it with the gear. I love it. It's my favorite gear. And I came out at Bound for as soon as I put it on at Bound for Glory, like everybody in the back was, you know, complimenting it. And as soon as I, came out for my entrance, I remember like everyone was on Twitter going crazy for the entrance alone. Just the whole aesthetic. And I was like, yeah, we're definitely on to something now. And then my nephew popped big for it. So eventually, when I stop wearing it, I'm gonna frame it and give it to him.
That's
So
dope.
that's something that he can have. But it's it just all made sense, and it seemed like the perfect time in life for that to, it seems like all the stars they all aligned for that moment, and I think it was a great decision. And I haven't gone back since. I did the recent year with Main Event Gear. They have two that they're working on for me right now.
Mm.
We got some cool stuff in the works.